Hey,
So
lovely.
let's make this soup together. In the pot, I've already add all the orishi you could ever think of. So as you can see, I've added my stockfish, my pomo, my snail. In fact, everything you will ever think of is right in there. Yes, you heard me right. So now it's time for us to introduce our pepper and crayfish. Yes. The reason why I always add everything, especially crayfish and pepper in my protein before cooking it, is so that all the ingredients will marinate inside, everything will penetrate inside. You understand what I mean? I told you guys that I was going to make magic. So this is it. But trust me, this is not your regular method of making this kind of soup. When I tell you this is not your regular, I mean every word from it. Though last night, after all I went through with plantain and so rest of it, I could not raise a finger. I was so tired. But then again, I remember that I promised to make a magic. So I just told myself, you need to do
So back
this.
to what we are doing. Everything is set. Lower Shibia Hodo.
Oh, Chim, you can imagine the kind of aroma that is coming out from this deliciousness. Oh, so this is time for me to introduce my own water. Remember the water I used was the one I soaked with stockfish. Yes, now this is the time for me to introduce my own water. In fact, the water I will use to cook the main soup. Do you understand? And this protein is half done already. So I now introduce my oil. See, this kind of soup, it need enough oil because enough oil will help the taste, everything to come out very well. At this point, I introduce another ground crayfish. Then I turn everything so that everything to cook for some minutes. So this is the look after some minutes. Yeah. So it's time for me to introduce my dried saltfish. Yes. Listen, this is not your regular dry fish. Oh. This one is direct from my village. Yes. And now combine everything. Combine it to marry themselves very well. So this is time for me to introduce my saint leaf. See, I use a little pinch of saint leaf because the aroma is not here. It's not in fact it is out of this world. So I must introduce my then I stir, allowing them to marry themselves, to marry each other again. So I stir it for a while, yes. So, the aroma coming from this pot. Oh, you needed to be here. I'm telling you. So this is time for me to introduce my water leaf. Yeah, I use water leaf. So who can guess the soup I'm making right now? Anyway, let me just finish what I'm doing. So at this point, I needed to be careful while stirring this. I needed to be so careful because of the fish I added last, so the thing will not, you know, so that it will not dissolve, so that the fish will not dissolve. At this point, I need to stir for a while. I don't need water at this point because I trust water leaf what it can do for the soup. See this soup now. Camera film this soup well well, film am. You dey feel am. Hi, see, na front and back I no get, but trust me, I sabi cook. So this is time for me to introduce my ugu. Yes. Can you still guess the soup I'm preparing? So at this point, the ugu is much, but trust me now, as a chef where I be, as a cook where I be, so at this point, I covered it and allowed the heat to reduce the vegetable before stirring it. Oh, check it now. Film the soup well well. Film am. You dey feel am? Film am. As a guy, you are still single. You are single and you are looking for a wife. And you've not checked Abakaliki wives. You've not checked Abakaliki girls. Ha! You don't want me? Because that is where wife materialize. Check soup now. Eh? This one na odogu soup. No be anyhow man dey chop this kind soup. See everything now. See protein left and right, front and center, everywhere. Oh, Chimo. I don't know why. Camera is not doing justice to this soup. I'm telling you the truth. It's not just doing justice. Manaya di bansu badiro. How? Chineke. See soup now. In fact, I will leave you guys to judge this soup because this thing, if I talk now, people will say I'm talking too much. I will just allow you people to film am very well. Film am and they feel am. Just imagine the taste. Just imagine the aroma. See, I know some of you are already salivating, but not to bad. Hey, see soup. Omalicha soup. Ngwano, bye.